Welcome back to Investing Talk Podcast. Today, we're going to be looking at zSpace, ticker symbol ZSPC,
Okay.
a company that's really been turning heads in the market. I think
Yeah.
they're in the exciting world of AR/VR education technology, and things are really heating up for them, especially since their IPO back in December.
It's really fascinating to see how zSpace's stock has taken off since then.
Yeah.
There's a lot of investor interest, and it's really fueled by some exciting developments.
Right.
New products are hitting the market. Analysts are giving them the thumbs up,
Mm.
and their overall performance is looking strong. So you can see why people are taking notice.
Yeah. Let's break down what's got everyone so excited.
Sure.
First up, those analyst upgrades.
Yeah,
Both Roth MKM and Roth Capital have come out with some positive ratings, right?
sure have. Roth MKM initiated coverage with a buy rating,
Okay.
and Roth Capital went even further with a strong buy.
Wow.
What's particularly eye-catching is the price target they've both set.
Right.
$20.
And the stock price has already come pretty close to that.
Yeah.
That speaks volumes about the confidence in zSpace's potential,
Yeah.
I think, in the AR/VR education market.
Absolutely. And it's not just hype. They're backing it up with some really innovative products.
Right.
Take their Imagine Learning solution, for example. It's an AR/VR laptop system designed specifically for elementary education.
And what's really interesting is that there are no headsets or 3D glasses needed.
Exactly. That makes AR/VR so much more accessible for younger students.
Yeah.
Plus, it comes with curriculum-aligned lessons.
Oh, wow.
And even professional development for teachers. They're really taking a comprehensive approach.
They've also launched the Career Readiness Solution, which I hear won an award recently.
You're right. It's a platform that leverages AR/VR to help students explore different career paths and develop key skills, getting them ready for the workforce.
Nice.
So you can see zSpace is really pushing the boundaries of what's possible in education.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like they're not just riding the AR/VR wave, but actively shaping it.
Right.
Now let's shift gears a bit
Okay.
and talk about zSpace's IPO and how the market has responded. They went public pretty recently, right?
Yes, in December 2024.
Okay.
With an initial share price of $5, they raised about $9.4 million through the IPO.
Okay.
What's interesting is the stock's performance since then. We saw a significant jump,
Uh-huh.
even hitting a peak of $32.69.
That's an impressive climb.
Yeah.
But I imagine it hasn't been all smooth sailing.
You're right. The stock market is rarely predictable.
Right.
As of February 11th, 2025, it's trading around $17.65.
Okay.
This volatility is something for potential investors to keep in mind. While there's potential for growth,
Yeah.
there's also inherent risk.
Now, I know some of our listeners are into technical analysis.
Okay.
What are some of the key indicators saying about zSpace?
Well, if we look at the short-term trends, the stock is trading above both its 5-day and 20-day moving averages,
Okay.
which suggests an upward trajectory.
Oh,
The
fine.
relative strength index, or RSI, is currently at a neutral level. This means there's room for the stock to potentially continue its upward climb.
So overall, are the technical indicators giving us a positive signal?
In general, yes. It's like they're all saying, hey, space is a stock to watch.
All right. We've talked about market excitement, innovative products, and technical indicators.
Yeah.
Now let's dive into the company's financial health.
Okay.
What are the numbers telling us?
When we look at the financials, there are some very promising signs.
Okay.
zSpace's revenue has grown by 16.30% year over year.
Okay.
And what's really caught my eye is their transition to profitability.
Right.
They've reported a net income of $22 million for the trailing 12 months.
That's a significant achievement for a relatively new public company.
Yeah.
And what about their price-to-earnings ratio? Is that looking favorable as well?
Their PE ratio is currently sitting at a low 3.83. Now, this suggests that zSpace might be undervalued compared to other players in the industry, but there's something important to note here.
Wait, before you go on, I noticed something in the reports. You mentioned profitability, but there was also mention of operating losses.
Yes,
How does that add up?
you've picked up on a key detail. There's a discrepancy between their operating losses and the reported net income. This definitely warrants further investigation. It's crucial to look beyond the surface when assessing a company's financial health.
Right.
There could be non-operating income sources
Okay.
or one-time gains contributing to that net income figure, which might not be sustainable in the long run.
That's a really good point. It always pays to dig a little deeper and understand the full picture. So considering everything we've discussed, how would you assess zSpace as an investment opportunity?
Well, there's certainly a lot to like. We've got the growth potential,
Yeah.
largely positive financials,
Right.
with that caveat we just mentioned, and the positive outlook from analysts.
Right.
It's definitely a company on the move and worth keeping an eye on.
But there are also risks to consider. Right. Especially with that stock volatility we talked about earlier.
Exactly. Remember, zSpace's stock has shown significant swings with a 30-day volatility of 23.68%.
Wow.
This means that while there's potential for big gains, there's also the potential for losses.
Right.
It's important for any investor to understand their own risk tolerance before jumping in.
And what about institutional investors? Are they showing much interest in zSpace?
That's another interesting aspect. Currently, institutional ownership is very low,
Okay.
sitting in at just 0.05%.
Wow.
If we start seeing more institutional investment, that could really push the price up.
Yeah.
So it's definitely something to watch.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground. Can you give us a quick recap of the key takeaways for zSpace?
Yeah.
What should our listeners be walking away with?
Sure. zSpace is a company at the forefront of AR/VR education technology. They're bringing innovative products to the market, and analysts seem to be bullish on their prospects. The financials are mostly positive, although that discrepancy between operating losses and net income requires more scrutiny. And, of course, we need to remember the stock's volatility and weigh that against the potential rewards.
It's really fascinating to see a company pushing the boundaries like this.
Yeah.
And what about the bigger picture? What are your thoughts on zSpace's long-term prospects?
That's the big question, isn't it? The ed tech landscape is evolving at an incredible pace, and AR/VR is playing a big role in that evolution. Can zSpace maintain its momentum and secure a dominant position in this space?
Right.
It's definitely possible, but there are always challenges and competitors to consider.
That's a great point. So as our listeners are considering zSpace and its future, what's one key question they should be asking themselves?
I think the key question is, can space translate its early success and innovative products into sustained growth and profitability over the long term?
Okay.
It's a dynamic market with immense potential, but also a fair amount of uncertainty.
Yeah.
I always encourage listeners to do their own research, carefully weigh the risks and rewards, and ultimately come to their own conclusions.
That's sound advice. So for anyone intrigued by space and wants to learn more, where's a good place to start?
zSpace's website is a great resource. You'll find in-depth information about their products, their mission, and their financials. And of course, staying up to date on financial news and analyst reports can provide valuable insights.
Perfect. We've covered a lot of ground today, and I hope this has given everyone a better understanding of zSpace and its potential impact on the AR/VR education market. Before we wrap up, any final thoughts for our listeners?
My final thought is this. zSpace is a company that's daring to reimagine the future of education.
Yeah.
They're harnessing the power of AR/VR to create immersive and engaging learning experiences for students of all ages.
Yeah.
Whether they ultimately achieve long-term success remains to be seen, but their journey is certainly one worth following.
I couldn't agree more. It's been a fascinating look into zSpace's world. Thanks for joining us today.
It's been a pleasure.
And a big thanks to all our listeners for tuning in to Investing Talk Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe to Investing Talk Podcast and leave us a comment. We love hearing from you. If you found this episode insightful, why not share it with a friend who might be interested in the future of education and technology. Until next time, happy investing. I couldn't agree more. It's been a fascinating look into zSpace's world. Thanks for joining us today.
Absolutely. It's been my pleasure.
And a big thanks to all our listeners for tuning in to Investing Talk Podcast.
Yeah.
Don't forget to subscribe to Investing Talk Podcast and leave us a comment.
Yes, please do.
We love hearing from you. If you found this episode insightful, why not share it with a friend who might be interested in the future of education and technology? Until next time, happy investing.